What's up, y'all? It's Vitamin M coming at you with another bourbon review here. And today, for a very special 4th of July celebration here on another episode of Bourbon Review, I have Still Austin here from, you guessed it, straight out of Austin, Texas here. So happy 4th of July to all of y'all out there. America's birthday, great day. But today, I want to take a look at Still Austin here. So you see red corn, all this stuff, which we've talked about before with Ben Holiday, but I really want to touch on Texas bourbon here. Now, a lot of people think that bourbon has to be made in Kentucky. And we've talked about this before, where to be legally qualified as bourbon, you just have to be made in America. Doesn't matter where, but it has to be made in America. Last I guessed, Texas is in America as far as I'm aware. But Texas bourbon is very relatively new, within the past 2 decades, basically. It really got started with Garrison Brothers back in 2006, compared to a lot of the old traditions surrounding Kentucky bourbon starting in like 1760s and stuff like that. Depends on which story you read and what version, all that. But all that to say, Texas bourbon has been a relatively new idea with a lot of pioneers such as Garrison Brothers, Balcones, and then including Still Austin, which is maybe not even 10 years old. But these guys I found have been the best bourbon within Texas here. I don't really like Garrison Brothers. I even visited the Balcones distillery down in Waco at one point, and I wasn't really impressed with their stuff in the juice. But with what Still Austin is doing, it's very thick. It's got a good consistency. It doesn't have a weird graininess on the tip of my tongue like it does with Garrison Brothers, where it has very much like a cream of corn or cream corn texture to it that I can't get over. But these guys are incredible. And I've been meaning to pick up their summer release here, the Red Corn Bottled in Bond. So this is something that they release every summer, so this is pretty recent. They've got a winter, a spring, and a summer release here. But this is the Bottled in Bond Red Corn. And as we've talked about before with red corn and red wheat and all this kind of stuff, before with the Ben Holiday episode back in the day, it's going to have some very different changes because this. Blue corn kind of does the same thing as well, and that's their winter release. But I'll give my thoughts on that one another time. But today, I want to focus in particular on the red corn here. So, beautiful looking bottle here. It's very dry out in Texas this time of year for sure. Kind of humid with the weather, I imagine, but that's what's going on here. Sounds like a perfect release for this time here. So Still Austin, 10 years old or so. And what makes Texas bourbon very unique, no matter where it's kind of aged, is a lot of the weather changes within the climate are very much more pronounced within Texas. You have really, really hot summers, and you still have very cold winters within there. So the swings between hot and cold really affect the aging. I think the aging process is almost 4 times as quicker, kind of, compared to aging in Kentucky. But that's kind of what I heard. But all that to say, it's much quicker over in Texas for sure. So something aged 2 years is kind of equivalent to something aged within 6 or 8 years or something like that. But all that to say that there's a lot going on in Texas here, and Still Austin by far, to me, is the best Texas bourbon that's out there, period. End of story. But we'll crack this guy open here. It's a fresh cork here, so we'll see what's got going on. Crack this open. Thank goodness these guys are easy too. Solid cork right there. I got a good feeling about this one now. But y'all know the process. We're going to run through the color, the nose, and take a look at this. So beautiful, beautiful color right here. This is really nice, as you can imagine here. Wow. Very nice red color. Hold it up in the light, of course. It's looking good. I mean, it's almost like a cross between an amber and a bronze almost. It's got a very deep redness to it, kind of like the Ben Holiday here. This one excites me. The back of the label says lots of rye sweetness with a lot of heat and whatever kind of tastes from the red corn. So I'm excited for this. And y'all have been appreciating the Ben Holiday episode. So this one was kind of the next given, and I wanted to shake things up if I reviewed Still Austin, because their cask strength is absolutely excellent. Great butterscotch caramel, but it's got a really good thick viscosity to it that I think really carries it with whatever kind of 120, 115 kind of proof that their cask strength is. But this is pretty special, and their releases are pretty nice. But we'll get a whiff of the nose here too. Definitely smells like a rye. It's got a nice, punchiness to it as well here. Very grainy, kind of poignant with it as well. Still lots of butterscotch caramel, but it's got a good rye consistency as well here too. Kind of dry and arid. Texas bourbons, because the heat is so much more intense there, tend to have a lot more of a dry or kind of those darker notes. Kind of think of your like cocos, tobaccos, stuff like that, almost like a leatheriness to some of them as well, because of the heat here. And all of that juice that's aging in the barrel gets so soaked up that it starts to leak, and then you have the angel share from that point. So it's great on the nose here. This is really nice. Nice, spicy and dry, but a little bit of sweetness as well. So we'll take a drink of this, and we'll drink today, because tomorrow we die. Whoa. Wow, it immediately hit my tongue, and that's, wow, that is incredibly unique. I think the worst thing bourbon or any kind of food or drink can be is if it really reminds you of something that you're eating or you're drinking that you'd rather have instead. This, there's nothing I can really think of that's relatively close to just how this is on the mouth. Oh my God, this is insane. Wow. Oh my gosh, you start off with an incredible like sweetness. I want to say like a lollipop or something, or like white sugar. It starts off like really sweet and just kind of very, very bright with that. Gets to the middle of your tongue, you get like a caramel pepperiness. Your middle of your tongue feels a little bit dry, but it's a good viscosity to it. It's a much thinner viscosity, as you would imagine, because of the alcohol difference between this and the cask strength. But that by no means takes away from the character of this. It's a much more thin viscosity compared to the cask strength. And then on the finish, it's a nice warm hug as it goes down. You get kind of like, it's almost kind of like that Ben Holiday a little bit. You get like a little bit of a spiciness. Not really like a licorice, but there's kind of like a red hot kind of thing going for it towards the end. But it's pretty damn warm going down there. Wow. It's just very sweet. There's a little bit like a creaminess almost too. Wow, this is really something. I would say, the soft red wheat of Ben Holiday was much more of kind of like a mellow licorice, red hots kind of thing. This is much more of a bright and dry kind of corollary to that almost. Maybe that's the corn or so. But this is fantastic. It's got a little bit of that rye going for it too. I think that kind of makes it spicy, kind of peppery over the middle and poignant as well as it goes down here. But oh my gosh, this is absolutely excellent. Wow, this is blowing me away right here. I mean, this is definitely very unique, very special. And I am very much a fan of this. I didn't catch this one last year when it was over by me, and I'm glad I waited, and it was worth the wait here. So if I had to give this a rank based off of everything that I know, given this here, I would say this is a very solid 7 out of 10 right here. Kind of on a parallel with Buffalo Trace or whatever. Got to play off of what you're feeling that night, but this is an incredible bottle right here. If you don't know about Still Austin or have them in your area, be sure to pick them up. You will not be disappointed with their stuff. But that'll wrap it up for this episode, and hope you all have a great 4th of July out there. That being said, I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.